What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another budget build, this time targeting the $600 price range to build up a gaming PC that is capable of gaming in all modern titles here in 2024. So you guys know what that means. I'm going to take to all online marketplaces to make the most price to performance PC I possibly can. And while we're on the subject of budget and pricing, then I've got a video sponsor today that'll help you save money on your Windows activation. Let's go. Did you just finish building your brand new gaming PC and you're trying to finish off the build by installing and activating Windows, but you're finding yourself a little strapped for cash because you just bought all that nice new shiny hardware? Well, then I've got you covered in today's video sponsor, SCD Key. As mentioned, head on over to scdkey.com, link in the description below, an online marketplace that specializes in keys to activate your copy of Windows. What you'll want to do is select to purchase a Windows 10 Pro key, click buy it now, and apply my promo code during checkout to take full advantage of a 25% discount they have going on right now for Valentine's Day. You can even use my promo code on Windows 11 or other Office product purchases. Next, all you got to do is zip on over to your Windows activation screen, click change product key, and simply paste in the key you received digitally upon purchase. Click through the next activation menu screens and you are done. Now you have a fully licensed and activated copy of Windows on your new system. Remember, guys, don't forget to use my promo code during checkout to save yourself some sweet cash during checkout to activate your Windows copy. Thank you again to SCD Keys for sponsoring today's video, and now back to our regular content. Alrighty, so no sense in delaying anything here. Let's jump right in. If you guys are new to the channel, well, this will be your first time experience part hunting with me, but the idea here is to target the best parts to make the most powerful price to performance PC while also looking pretty good. So we're going to go over to PC Part Picker. It's just a tool I'm using as a collection database of parts that we're going to collect from various different locations. It could be brand new from Amazon, Newegg, B&H, or maybe we're going to have to go to eBay, which we probably will at some point, or some other type of used market retail place. But let's get into it and see what we can build for 600 bucks. All right, so we're over on PC Part Picker here. The first thing on the list is CPU, so let's jump in and see what we got here. So ideally with a $600 build, I should have a little bit more spend range in my budget than I did with my last build, which was just $400. So I'm not going to try to skimp too hard here, but I want to find a good powered CPU to work with here. So the things I'm thinking of we probably have to go with is probably a Ryzen 5 5000 series generation AM4 CPU, or we go with a maybe 1 or 2 generation older i5 from Intel. I'm going to start with a 12th series i5. I think is a pretty good middle ground. That's just a couple generations back. Let's just sort price by lowest first, so we can get our hands on a 12600KF for $178. That's pretty darn good, I'd have to say. And the thing I like about this CPU is it has really high boost clocks, almost 5 gigahertz. A really good CPU for kind of a middle ground, almost starting to get into a mid-tier type gaming PC. So just to cross our T's and dot our I's here, let's see what the Ryzen competitor CPU, which would be, I guess, a Ryzen 5 5600X. Let's just go 5600 to see them all. And they are coming in a fair bit cheaper, quite a bit cheaper. So we're talking $40 less for the Ryzen 5 5600. This CPU does not quite clock up as high, so we're gonna have better performance from a 12 series i5, but if we need to in a pinch to save ourselves about 40 bucks, I guess we got something that we can go on. So, and just to be sure, the 13th gen i5s, let's just double check the prices on those, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're going for, whoa, a lot more. $285 for the KF. Yeah, that's going to be half of our budget just on the CPU. Can't do that. All right, so moving on to motherboard, and again, an area, since we got a little bit more in our budget than we did in my last parts hunt video, I want to budget for something that's decently good. So a Z-series board for the Intel is going to just be a waste of money, and really at this point, a good mainstream middle board would be to go with the B-series, so the B660 series boards. And I'm also going to see if I can get some Wi-Fi on this board too, so we're going to put that in our filter, and we're going to go with basically the cheapest one I can find at this point. This first one on the top is a mini ITX form factor. I don't want to go with that. Micro ATX is likely what we're going to land. Maybe an ATX board if it's not too crazy expensive, but the prices are going up very fast here in the B660 series. So I guess I'm going to go with this next one, which is basically the only one I really can see as an option at this point, is this Asus Prime B660M. Interesting, we have a lot of PCIe 16X slots, but I guess is fine. We've got, doesn't look to be skimpy power delivery, so we got good cooling over the VRM, 4 DIMM slots. So really not a whole lot else to say. The IO is leaves something to be desired. There isn't a whole lot there to work with, but we're really not having a whole lot much of a budget to work with either. And I want to try to get that CPU that we have selected. So let's go with this. Again, I'm really not sure where we're going to land with things here. So that's why we build this list as we go to see what kind of things and stuff that we have to change along the way. So I'm going to add this one into our cart or our part list. We're already over half just with CPU and motherboard. So it's starting to get dicey very quickly. All right, so moving on to the next category, memory. Hopefully that'll be our saving grace and we can just get a quick, easy part here. So a 2x8 gig kit. Ooh, G-Skill for 30 bucks. These are good looking RAM kits too. I've used these several times before. If you guys are OGs of the channel, I don't see any particular reason not to go with this. We really need to save some bucks here because we really have spent a lot very quickly on just the 2 previous parts. We're sitting at $358.97. All right, so next thing on the list is storage, and that is what I've discussed in my previous videos here recently when I did the $400 build. It's definitely an area that's a little tougher to find something cheap, but let's see what we got here. Okay, so here's that Timetech SSD that I used just in my last $400 build, which came in pretty clutch for the price, 30-something dollars. We don't have a whole lot to work with in terms of price. For $600 build, unfortunately, probably going to have to target a 512 gig drive, at least for now. I would like to see if I can get that up to 1 terabyte. We might have to buy a used motherboard on eBay to save us some money, because spending like $130 on that motherboard is a lot, but because I really want to use that CPU. But let's add this in. Again, let's keep plucking away, see where we land. We are now at $391, and we've got just about half the build done. So we got to get onto that video card though. Fortunately, we're going to have to jump right over to eBay like we most cases do for GPUs. So we're just going to pump in RX 6700 in here. All right, so cheapest 6700 is, well, first off, it looks like eBay is not really finding many non-XT versions, but wow, these are almost brand new priced. That's not going to help us out here. The cheapest one here that isn't like basically for parts like this top listing is this Power Color 6700 XT. And now this is a heck of a card. I'd say like definitely can delve into the 1440p style type of gaming as long as you got a CPU to support that. So maybe we're aiming a little high here in terms of GPU. But yeah, I'd love to get this card, but I can't spend $200 on it. If I spend $200 on this card, my budget's gone. The sacrifice that needs to be made at this point is we're going to have to dial back our expectations with graphics cards. So let's take a look at what maybe 6600s are going for. That might be more reasonable. Still, I feel like that's kind of high. I thought we might be able to find 66 or even 6700s non-XT for well under 100, like $80, not just like right at it or more. So yeah, we're gonna have to go even more down on card, unfortunately. Let's check out 5700 XT. We've got a Sapphire Pulse 5700 XT. It does state it was a mining card. Let's take a little closer look at that. Although it was a mining card, looks like it was never opened, so it wasn't tampered with physically so much. I'm looking for corrosion signs, knowing now that this is a mining card and we've discussed, yeah, boom, here it is. Look at that. So let's go down the list a little bit. The next one down the list, this is a non-XT card with BIOS for RX. I don't trust that. Like somebody's flashed BIOS on a card and it's stated or evident. I wouldn't say to trust that because you don't know what's going to happen. Okay, so next one down the list. This one's coming from Canada, so I'm paying almost $30 in import fees there for shipping. So next one down the list, wow, is an ASRock 5700 XT that's going for the same prices of 6700. All right, so quick summary where we stand with the parts on in the middle of it and having a bit of a dilemma. We have about, let me double check, $200-ish in our budget that we need to account for video card, case, and power supply. That's just not gonna happen, and we need a little bit more money to get the things that we need. I want to, before I delve into video card, because I really wanted to see if I can make this i5 work, is see if we can find or pick up a B660 motherboard. So I'm thinking maybe if I check out like Jawa or eBay. Jawa is a bit limited. eBay is probably the best, to be quite frank. I want to see if I can find a B660 board that we can knock like $50 off the price or maybe more, so that way we can a little more budget for a video card to actually get something that is a good pairing with that 12600. So let's stop our GPU hunt for the moment. Let's go back to eBay and see if we can find something that'll help give us a little more dollars back in our budget. Actually, now that I think about it, my search previously on PC Part Picker, I was including Wi-Fi boards. So let's just go back to PC Part Picker and exclude Wi-Fi. If we're spending $50 on Wi-Fi, that's silly. I can spend less for a $15 to $20 add-in card, or even less for our USB adapter or something. So let's go back actually and change that. I didn't quite consider that Wi-Fi might be driving the price up that badly. That's just kind of wild to me that these B660 boards are going for so much money to add in small tiny features like Wi-Fi. This is why I feel like Intel's so hard to work with. I know for a fact if I went with a 5700X, which is a little bit less CPU, right? Just a little bit less CPU, but that was coming in at about the same price. I can find a B450 board for less than $95, I think, and get Wi-Fi. Let's just see. I'm just curious. Okay, it's not a whole lot less, but it's a board I definitely love. And you guys, if you aren't new to the channel, you definitely know I love this board too. But the Gigabyte B450 Wi-Fi for $80, so that's actually $10 less, saving a total of $60. And if we wanted the 5600 that we saw before, we'd be saving another $30. This is why it's so hard to build with Intel. Like, I feel like I'm really making some sacrifices by going the Intel route. Like, even if I save myself $60 by going with a cheaper non-Wi-Fi board, that funny, I can get an AM4 board with Wi-Fi for less, so that gives me $260, right? We'll call it $270. So say I buy a GPU for $175, that allots me about $100 between power supply and case. It'll put us right in the $600 price range. So this is where you have to evaluate. Yes, by going with AM4, we're gonna go with a little bit less of a CPU to make more budget for probably more GPU, or just give ourselves some cushion. I really like the fact that I can get Wi-Fi in this motherboard, because that's a pretty big thing. Everybody uses Wi-Fi these days. Every PC I sell, I make sure basically goes out my door with Wi-Fi. So the sacrifices we have to make to basically run the Intel like lower tier type stuff is quite a bit. And just, this is what I've said time and time again with AM4 platform, is the parts are out there still. The prices are still the best. Yes, a 5600 is gonna get beat by that i5 processor, but I mean, leave it up to you. So basically, buyer's gamble at this point. I'm gonna try to go with that Intel and make it work just because it's a challenge. I think, I might have to, if I want to resell that PC, I'm going to have to invest a little bit of my own more money just to make it resellable. But let's see how far we can get. Let's try to fill out that parts list. And if it's just looking cringy and not good, then we'll go the AM4 route. We've readjusted the parts list now to show the Intel motherboard without Wi-Fi. That saves us nearly $60, brings our total budget initially invested back down to $330. That allows us to get something of a $150 to $175 GPU. I've got my eyeball on an RX 6600 XT. And I've got this listing here that I was interested in. It looks like a really good card. Everything is nice and clean. Looks like a brand new listing just about, although it has been opened. So we've got the 6600 XT, they say is a clean, fast, quiet, great card, whatever that means, okay. Seller seems to be reputable, has reviews all positive. This is an open box, basically brand new 6600 XT for $180. Let's see where that lands us. I can just use this listing, although the brand new ones are going for $266. Let's modify the price of what we're actually going to pay for it, and that being $180. So all that said and done, we're at $516.96 to get case and power supply. So let's go check out power supply. That's one thing I'm just a little worried about. I did buy that Apivia power supply just recently for the $400 build. So do we have any more of those available? Apivia Prestige, yes we do. $52. There might be better options here, so let's just do a quick filter on everything that we got available to us. I don't want to spend any more than like $50 to $60 on a power supply, so let's see what we can get. All right, so I've limited my search down quite narrowly, and I'm just trying to find the thing that I know that is on the tier C list, which looks like the cheapest one on the tier C list. And I say tier C, it's the power supply tier list. We know the Apivia is a good one. It's on the tier C list. Let's add that. And where does that leave us for case? So we need to spend, yeah, like $31 on a case. This is where it's really getting kind of cringy with price. Let's take to the parts list finder here and see if we can find a case. I gotta really narrow it down. All right, so here it is, cases from lowest price to highest. Yeah, there's not anything that's gonna basically work. The cheapest case is $37, and I'm sorting from $0 to $62. So even if I just added the cheapest thing on the list, which is this DIY PC F2 case for $38, we're already $6 over the budget. And that case is flat garbage. I'm not really gonna do that. So what would be the next best case to really get, and how bad does that beat our budget? Let's see here. DIY PC S3 mid-tower case. It looks like one of their, like maybe a new revision of their kind of like triple RGB fan case. It's not bad. I'd go with it. The thing we're missing too, which would hurt my resale value again, is these case manufacturers love to put these 3 LED fans up front, but nothing in the rear. So that I'm left with, do I want to increase the resale option of the PC by adding another fan, which is also going to be more money out of my pocket, which breaks our budget. Say we added this is probably the cheapest one that I think would be fitting for the build, as far as something that would have decent resale and would attract a buyer. But we're at $621. Yeah, I just really feel like Intel is just not there yet. Just not there yet. All right, so we're at $621. We definitely broke the budget. We need to make some adjustments. And the things that I want to keep are, if I'm trying to make this Intel build work, I want to keep that i5. Like, basically, I'm at the cheapest board I can find, which is $95. The RAM's fine. The storage is fine. So the things that can vary here are potentially the case and GPU, mostly the GPU. So we've really looked at AMD up and down at this point. The cheapest ballpark price here we're looking at is like $175 to $180. That still sends us over our budget. That, you know, not considering we don't buy an extra cooler or fan or Wi-Fi adapter for this PC, which I feel like it's kind of lacking. Let's see, is NVIDIA gonna save us here? I don't know. Let's just take a look. Let's look at what a 2070 will go for. And the reason why I'm choosing 2070 as well is because that kind of falls within the same performance ballpark of a in between, like a 5700-ish or 6600. So that kind of keeps us in the same performance ballpark. Yeah, these are more expensive. So we can't even get a 2070, which is older than the 6000 series RX card. And what we put on our list was that 6000 series card. Yeah, we got these going for 180 versus 195 to 200 for a 2070. 2060 would be our only other option, which now we're sacrificing performance. If we did a super, I guess we can look at that. Yeah, 2060s don't have any difference in price variance. This is silly. Why, like, all these cards are basically the same price of the 2070, and why do that when you can buy a 2070 and get a better card? So yeah, I don't get it. This is the NVIDIA tax, as I say all the time. Just to make sure we said we took a look, we'll see what the 3060s are going for. I'm gonna guess before I go look, $350. Okay, so it was a little off base, but I guess keep that in mind if you're looking for an older NVIDIA card, that a 3060 can be had for not too much more than the price of a 2070. And that's going to definitely give you more performance. But yeah, I mean, we're still at $250, so things just keep going up. I mean, that's 3060. A 3050 would be a step down in performance. I think we've kind of settled in where we can be here, guys. It's either a 6600 XT for $180 or a 5700 XT for $175. They basically are a wash in terms of price and performance. I would err to go on the side of what is more mainstream new, which would be the 6000 series card. But where does that land us in price? That lands us basically right back where we are, with I'm not able to get anything cheaper if I went the NVIDIA route, and I'm still over budget. All right, so I took some time off camera, and I just honestly don't feel like that build was really centered well for a $600 build. Sure, we were really making ways to make it happen. We were having to make some sacrifice on motherboard, so we'd be losing some features like which are simple features like Wi-Fi, and we would have a pretty small hard drive for a $600 build, a 512 gig drive that gets filled up pretty quick. And the case, I just again felt like it was something that I chose that was basically under $55 to make that work. And the best GPU I really wanted to go with was something in the 175 to 180 mark, so there really wasn't really an ability to budge off that. So let me show you what I came up with, and I think it's a lot more fitting of what we need here. All right, so instead of going with that i5, yes, I scaled it back and went with a Ryzen 5 5600. Now, we are losing a bit of clock speed, not a ton, but a fair amount, especially when it comes to boost, because the i5 can boost all the way up to 5 gigahertz. So there is a fair bit of difference there, but I don't think one that is extremely detrimental. And also keep in mind too, we're on the AM4 platform, so we have upgrade path at our disposal. But the big thing here is that really knocked off a ton of money. We're looking at $132 versus almost $180 for that i5, which I also didn't really want to keep that stock cooler because I know those stock coolers, although they are improved, they're really not all that great. So then that obviously pivoted us into the DS3H motherboard that I originally was taking a look at. So we've got all the basic core features that you should come to expect with a cheap motherboard, but for a fraction of the price of that Intel board. So the Intel board was running us upwards of, if we stayed with Wi-Fi, almost $160. If we gutted Wi-Fi, then we're losing Wi-Fi for, yeah, a little bit more money back in our pocket, but I just don't feel like that's really an area that should be so expensive, especially with those B660 boards, which are now coming up on 2 generations old. So those two items have net saved us over $60 by changing the platform. Like I was mentioning earlier, Intel just isn't quite in that niche where I really like them to be when it comes to building like PCs anywhere between the $400 to $600 range. What other addition or upgrade were we able to do? Well, that allowed us to basically go back in here and get us a 1 terabyte SSD NVMe drive that we were basically in no circumstance able to get if we stuck with the Intel platform. So now we have a lot of extra space, double in fact, than we had before, and that's going to allow us a lot of safety net in terms of space for room for their games and all the things, etc. And then lastly, since we're saving some bucks here, I was able to go get a better case. We only spent a few more dollars on this one, but like I would have probably had to gone with an even lesser case because I was already $20 over budget, but this allowed me to get an even better case. So I found the Montech Air case that I've worked with before, and the great thing about this case is it simply is just great. It's a small form factor micro ATX case, 4 RGB fans, lots of good airflow, and I was able to get it for $60 as opposed to the $52 junker that I was probably ultimately going to have to ditch anyway because I was so far over budget on that Intel build already. So it's just win after win after win here with AMD. I don't want to sound like an AMD fanboy, but when it comes to building like anywhere between $400 to $700 PCs, brand new custom builds like this, it just works better. And actually, I am $10 under budget just about. So in the end, this leaves me with $591.33 total spent versus being $20+ over. So take it at that. So all that said, let me know what you guys think about the part selection here. This one was a bit tougher than I thought it was going to be. Having $200 more at my disposal kind of makes things sway differently. I think for $600, we got ourselves a high value PC that is not only going to look good, it's going to perform just as well as like what always is my target when I do these types of builds. Next thing up is going to be the live stream though, so make sure you guys stay tuned to that because as soon as these parts are on order, we're going to be building this PC. Thanks for tuning into this one though. I appreciate your time and I will catch you in the next one.